Well, hello there. Welcome back to Gig Economy Talk with Lynn. Now, before we get started, if you do these three things for me, it would be greatly appreciated. You like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Do those three things, take your 5 seconds or less. I greatly appreciate it. And for all you return subscribers, welcome back. You know I couldn't forget you. Thank you so much for subscribing. And so let's get into the subject. Because frankly, I know before you turn off of this, sometimes customers are not to blame due to the tipping situation. It has to do with the mentality of the customer. Now, many people they're more familiar when you're part of a delivery service or delivering from a particular restaurant that the drivers are there at that restaurant and they're just waiting to be dispatched out to the different locations when the orders are completed. Now, they really don't see, some do not see the concept that the drivers have to come from who knows how many miles away just to get to the restaurant. Sometimes you find yourself passing the delivery point on the way to the restaurant and then coming back to the delivery point. So, a good rule of thumb, though, is in to try to hopefully change their mentality on the matter. If you are a customer receiving food, and this is indeed a special service, it is not just any old kind of service. It is a premium service to have food delivered to you or any particular item. So they may think too, well, the drivers at the restaurant that they are getting paid some sort of hourly wage. There is some sort of reimbursement even due to the vehicle, a little bit on fuel or something, but not knowing and not realizing, many do not, that we are totally independent contractors. They contract out for us to come in and make the deliveries, maybe help a particular place that has delivery people as well if they have an overabundance of orders. So I think they may feel more of tipping by way of arriving to their location, but they don't think about the fact that the driver has to come back to the restaurant. And of course, maybe having those other factors, and maybe they're getting paid a little something. But at the bare bones minimum, if the customer would just tip, like for a round trip, if say for instance, in their mind they live 2 miles or under away from the restaurant, if like say they tipped $2, if they would just at the very least double that to make it $4 in that way it would be $1 per mile and then coming back to the restaurant or for us delivery people that use the apps it would at least bring us back to the cluster of restaurants that deliver also so we can be in range to get another ping and go to another restaurant and continue being in or near the hot spots. And if you live farther out, yeah, keep that same mentality because I notice in many cases that some people will tip enough to go come to their location with the misunderstanding, and that would be enough for them. Long as we give tip you enough to get to our location, they don't even consider that we have to drive back. So if they live out in the middle of nowhere where there are no restaurants or anything, or at least adjacent to a nearby market, which would help a lot if that was the case. If we were going kind of one way, we could just pick up the algorithm would pick us up in the neighboring market and we can continue to deliver. That did happen to me last night for one of the orders that I accepted. Is that I knew in one way I was going, it would put me in a busier market and one that tends to pay a little bit more with the payouts in general. So it did actually help me, and I did much better. I got better offers in that particular area that it took me to. So it was a strategic move on my part to be able to do that. So, but that's a good rule of thumb, though, in what you accept in your orders. Are you getting enough of a payout to bring you to a cluster of restaurants where the algorithm can pick you up? And so hopefully the customer will see that this is a different sort of situation as opposed to your typical delivery driver when you order food. Okay, well, hopefully you didn't turn off of this because it actually was some good information. I noticed when some people get orders from a restaurant near to their living area, the tendency is that they will tip a little bit less. So yeah, hopefully they see the need to change and to add more and compensate the driver. May help very much for them to get their orders a little bit faster because I see a lot of orders that get left on the shelves and at the restaurant. And in one particular case, I came and picked up an order, saw a person's name on the shelf. I turned off that app after delivering, turned on a different app, and was assigned to come to back to that restaurant, and it was to pick up that order that had been sitting there for now at this point 45 minutes on the shelf. So, just I wish the customer would see the need to add more and help the driver out more monetarily. May help for them to get their orders in a more timely fashion. Even if they live way out somewhere, make it worth the driver's while to go there and come back. Even if they did your order, it would be a nice hourly wage and it would be worth it for them to drive out and come back. And they'd have their money, they would not take a hit financially just to deliver their food. Well, thanks so much for listening. And as I always like to say, let me help you to work strategically to maximize your earnings with a minimal amount of wear and tear on you and your vehicle. And we'll see you next time.